What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here, coming at you for another video. Today, we're going to be reviewing Xcom Chimera Squad. For those of you that's been following this channel, you know I'm a huge fan of this franchise. I love any type of game, really, that has to do with this type of gameplay. Now, before we get on with the review, definitely go on Twitter, follow me, Lord Addict ILP. There you'll get updates on what I'm reviewing, you'll get updates on what I'm playing. I'm always putting funny stuff up on there, so I think you guys would really enjoy that. Definitely hit the like button if you guys enjoy the video. Share it to all your friends. And without any further ado, here's my review on Xcom Chimera Squad that is currently out right now for Steam. For those of you that's played the Xcom games, you know that there is a story there. It's just told throughout a couple franchises. For instance, there is Xcom Enemy Within. That's the first one that they released on the 360 and PS3. Now that game is pretty much the aliens invade and you have to defend your planet. Now at the end of that, you lost the war and they took over the entire world. And pretty much with that one, you are coming back with your mobile base and you're taking the world back from the aliens. And that's pretty much the story of XCOM 2. Now, Chimera Squad is after the events of XCOM 2. Now, what's going on in Chimera Squad is we're in this city that is the very first city that is letting humans and aliens both interact with each other and live amongst each other. This gets a little weird sometimes when you're used to going around, you do a mission in the older XCOMs and there would be only human civilians. Well, on here, there's actually Viper civilians, Brute civilians. So it's really nice to see that interaction and the way that the city is trying to evolve with this new type of law, this new type of system going on. Now, Xcom Chimera Squad feels pretty much identical to the other XCOMs in terms of, how you play the game. There are a couple different scenarios that they did a couple tweaks. Now, it used to be in XCOM, all your people would go and then all the aliens go. All your people would go, then all the aliens go. On here, it's different. There's actually a timeline. It will be displayed in the top right of the actual gameplay that you're playing. Now, this will tell you exactly what order people go. Now, there are abilities to yank people to the top of this timeline, and this does change a little bit of the scenario that goes on with XCOM. It gives you a lot more of that sensation to someone can die unless you get him alive in that certain timeline and make sure he goes next to get him out of that scenario or to get him the proper health that he needs to not die. Now, XCOM Chimera Squad definitely has a huge thing that's not unlike the other XCOMs, that's not like them, and it is the fact that you cannot change regular characters to anything you want. Now, what I mean for that is, for those of you that's coming on here that's never played an XCOM, in the older XCOMs you could play you could change the details of an XCOM character, you could change the name, you could change the nationality, you could change how it looks, you could change the sex, and the reason they did that is so you could personalize these characters to be someone in your life, to be someone that you know on Xbox, to be someone that you know on YouTube, and that way when they died it was more impactful on you because you knew that person. Now, I think the reason they changed this was for the good part. Now, I don't think this is going to carry over to anything that they do in XCOM 3. I think the reason that it's like this in XCOM 2 is for a story building purposes. What I mean by story building is there are particular people in this game that you put on your team, pretty much one of every race, one of every alien species. And the good thing about it is they have a backstory. They have what they did before the war. They had what they did during the slavery of the war. And they had what they did after the war. Some of these aliens came from a scenario where they actually started feeling feelings for humans. And they started feeling bad for them. They started helping the humans push back their people. And I really enjoy this because it gives a huge more, deep down to not all the aliens in XCOM 1 and 2 were assholes. Some of them really tried to help, and I get down on that. Now, how this game works is the city is being attacked by 3 different factions. And every faction actually felt nice. Every faction had different enemies that you fought. Every faction had different species of the aliens that you've been fighting for years. Now, I really enjoyed the 20 plus hours of game that I got from this, but there is issues. The performance is crazy bad. Sometimes the game would crash and I wouldn't know. I would literally sometimes have to reset my PC just to even get this working. Now, like I've said in previous reviews, definitely go check forums or something. I'm sure there's some kind of, information that you can intake to find out if these have been fixed. But in my knowledge and in my experience with XCOM games, it doesn't happen overnight with them. It takes a long time for them to really fix all these issues. Now, there was a one time where I moved left and he literally went left off the map. I don't understand how that happened. Part of me feels like the performance issues in this game's horrible, but then part of me feels like it could easily just be my setup, so definitely keep that in mind. Another thing I didn't like about this game is I didn't like how vague they were about explaining certain things. They didn't like to really explain really anything. They would give you like a brief tutorial and then they would let you rock after that. I don't mind having stuff hit me in the blind, but I do feel like they could have been a little bit better when it comes to the tutorial, especially how you work the actual map, the city, and find out exactly what you need to do in that city. I didn't like the fact that when you do certain amount of missions, you get access to one more character out of 3. You get to pick one. I didn't like that. I felt like you should be able to see all of the characters and just pick one out of all the characters, because there were certain characters that I liked from the second or third batch that I might not have had access to the first time going around. And I think that when it comes to stuff like that, they need to give you access to all the characters and let you pick one going there forward, or let you pick your whole squad going in. I don't get that, but it is what it is. Another thing I don't like is I played the original XComs. I remember having 20-30 people on your ship ready to go, having that epic war. I didn't like the fact that the original XCOM and XCOM 2 only let you have 4 and you can have 6 if you upgraded your character slots on the battlefield. On this game, you can only have 4 people. Now, you can have an android that will follow you around if one of your people gets downed. Now, let me go and explain a little bit about the mission statement a little. In Xcom Chimera Squad, there's actually multiple phases of a battle. So it used to be in the original XComs, you would just go through, an alien base. It might be a large map, it might be a small map, but it was usually just one location. On here, you still have that, but they're broken up into smaller locations. This game is real close quartered, and I think that's the reason they did that. So you would have like 1 out of 3 matches, and if any of your people would get downed, what would happen is you would stabilize them, but they wouldn't carry over to the next encounter. They would stay into that encounter that they died at, and I guess they would be carried out, and it would be replaced by an android. I understand the concept behind this, but I don't understand why they did it. I don't want to play as an android. If you're gonna let me switch people out, just let me switch out of the other people that's in the game. No one wants the android. Maybe other people feel differently, but I never use that android one time because I'm always very defensive in these type of games, so I didn't die a whole lot. But I don't like the androids. I think they're dumb. I don't know why they put them in here, but if they're capitalized a little bit better, maybe I'll try them out more in XCOM 3. My biggest complaint with this game, and it's not my biggest, it's just the one that I was a little bit more up the middle with, is the breach mode. Now, for those of you that don't know what the breach mode is in this new XCOM, there's every time before you do an encounter, you'll have, you could do this thing called a breach mode. Now, what the breach mode is you'll go through 1, 2, 3 sections of the map. Maybe you'll go through a wall, go through the main door. There are certain agents that can go through special things that only they can do. Like, for instance, the snake can go through the vents, and I thought that was cool. But to me, I felt like this was missing something, and I couldn't even really put my hands on what it was missing, but it just didn't feel epic to me. It felt like I was just kicking doors in and just shooting people, and I feel like this is a good direction, but do some tweaks, do something that makes it a little bit, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you guys what was wrong with the breach mode to me, but I see a lot of people liking the breach mode. It's not that I don't like it, it's just it definitely felt like there was something lacking in that particular feature of the game. But anyway, that is my review on the Xcom Chimera Squad. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Tell me if you guys like it. Me personally, I think it's worth the $10 to $20 that you invest into it. Nothing I've really said in this review takes away from the fact that I've enjoyed this game a whole lot. Even if I say it's a negative and I don't like about the game, nothing in this was game breaking besides maybe the bugs. The bugs were very annoying. I did almost drop the game because of the bugs a couple of times, but I kept playing it because I really enjoyed the game. It's just the bugs. Come on, next time, do not release a game like this. But anyway, it's definitely worth that $10, $20 that you invest into it. Definitely follow me on Twitter, Lord Addict IOP. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed this review, and share it to all your social medias if you guys really did enjoy it. And until the next review, I'm out of here. Peace.